Whatever the steps might have been legitimate steps could be seen maybe outside of Hezekiah's window, on the palace grounds. There may be some steps, and there was some kind of a sundial that indicated the shadows showed what time of day it was, basically. As the sun began to set, the shadow would move down, go forward 10 steps, and back 10 steps. And so he said, I wanted to do the opposite of what it normally does. I want the sun basically to move backwards, is what he's saying. And although the sun isn't mentioned here, and some commentators, I looked this up even this morning again just to kind of refresh my mind, said, we don't really know whether the sun was moved or something like that. But I think we'll find a little later on that people actually came to, they were kind of puzzled about this. And so, the idea that the sun went down, the sun was involved is most likely. 2 Chronicles, if you don't mind, and here goes proof again that 1st and 2nd Chronicles parallel 1 Samuel through 2 Kings, and predominantly focus on Judah and in the book of Chronicles. So that's just something simple to know about that. 2 Chronicles chapter 32, 24 through 26. This is a real short one here. In those days, just a few verses here. In those days, Hezekiah became mortally ill, and he prayed to the Lord. And the Lord spoke to him and gave him a sign. But Isaiah gave no return for the benefit he received, because his heart was proud. Therefore wrath came on him and on Judah and Jerusalem. However, Hezekiah humbled the pride of his heart, both he and the inhabitants of Jerusalem, so that the wrath of the Lord did not come on them in the days of Hezekiah. And so 2 Chronicles doesn't give us any details except just real quickly summarizes it, because he wants to get to the point of 25 and 26 that Hezekiah did not in some way do the right thing in his response to God afterwards, and showing his gratitude to God. It says here his heart was proud. So we don't learn that over in 2 Kings, but here 2 Chronicles gives us that. And all it says here is he gave him a sign, and then goes on to other things. So it's a real brief one, doesn't add a whole lot. But look at your notes down here, the paper notes I gave you on 2 Chronicles, because it emphasizes the one lesson, and that is the lesson of pride. He didn't give thanks basically to the Lord for doing this, because his heart was proud. And so it talks about his pride. And pride sometimes keeps us from appreciating God and the kindness of God. We Christians have that problem at times, that we sort of take God for granted, and we just assume everything's going to happen the way it does. There are some people who are unbeliever kind of people that can say some pretty awful things about what they think is a reality. They dismiss the idea of God and say, you're really a foolish person for believing in all that. I think really what's happening there is the pride is getting in their way. They feel like they've become so intellectual they don't really have a need for God. And so that might be an application there. But for us as Christians also to realize God does wonderful good things. Always thank God for what we have in life. Can I get an amen on that? Yeah, we really ought to be thankful, even for the sun rising every day, and for those